You're listening to the Long Game Podcast. I'm your host, Sandra Scaiano. I am loving how today's episode came about. After my months-long work in a speakers program that I was a part of, I realized a lot about what I want to talk about. I've got some ideas that have a broader reach beyond the entrepreneurial world. And then there are these distinct talks that I have from my industry. And these weave in some of my philosophies on business and life, but they're rooted in my digital strategy expertise. I've got multiple stories to tell. And we all do. But the work I did in the speakers program helped me to better understand that. When the speakeasy ended, one of the things we were challenged with is to keep putting ourselves out there, to get on stages. And it was just about that time that I saw a post calling for Kajabi experts to present. So I clicked the link and feverishly filled out the Google form. I have been building and preparing in the Kajabi world, all the while working my Kajabi methods with my clients. I knew I was ready. And although my form submission may have been a little off the cuff, it was filled with energy and my unique take. So hitting submit, it was a challenge to myself to do all the things required to be part of an event, to show up. Then one day I got an email saying I was accepted to be one of the presenting experts at the Elevate Your Kajabi Business Summit. And being part of this summit has really been a wonderful experience. My guests today are the summit creators, Larissa Russell and Malva Gasowski. The two are a dynamic duo in the summit world, having created their own brand, Spectacular Summits, where they run summits for other businesses, and they're also teaching others the benefits and the how-tos of summit execution. And they are here today sharing what you can get out of summits as both a host and a participant, as well as diving into creating this niche topic summit on Kajabi. The Elevate Your Kajabi Business Summit runs June 5th through the 11th, 2023, and brings together 22 Kajabi experts, myself included, for 7 days of transformational workshops, insights, and advice. From copy and design that drives conversions to strategic course creation, and that's where you'll find me, to community building strategies, summit strategy creation, mastering successful funnels, and 2 entire days devoted to scaling your Kajabi business for growth and success. So if you are a course or membership creator, you need to know all of this. And the information gathered here, you will really not find it anywhere else. So I'm super excited to be a part of the summit and to talk about using summits in your business as a list building strategy. The long game is Spectacular Summits with Larissa Russell and Malva Gasowski. In a world where everyone is doing, it's easy to get lost in a sea of comparison, secret tricks, and promises of overnight success. The long game? That's my approach to business. You gotta show up, you gotta do the work, and there are no quick fixes for long-term success. It takes creativity, it takes strategy, and it takes listening to the voice inside you. I'm a web designer, digital strategist, and energetic thinker, bringing you real-world business building experiences, conversations with creators who are out there doing it now, and ideas to spark the energy in your own business. And along the way, we're gonna have a little bit of fun as well. So thanks for being here, and let's get to today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Long Game Podcast. I'm your host, Sandra Scaiano, and I am super excited today. This is actually one of my first multiple guest episodes. Today, we are joined by Larissa Russell and Malva Gasowski of Spectacular Summits. They run their own summit business, so we're going to dive in and talk about that. But they've also created the Elevate Your Business with Kajabi Summit. And I'm so excited about this. Obviously, my love for Kajabi. They're really bringing the brightest minds working in Kajabi all together for 7 days, June 5th through 11th, and really talking about strategies and tactics for the long game of things. And one of the things you need with Kajabi is strategy. So welcome, ladies. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you for
excited to be
having
here.
us.
It's exciting. And I love how this all came about. We've all come together through this idea of working together for a common goal and in a common theme type of thing. So tell me a little bit about, I know the two of you have come together to work and create your own Spectacular Summits business. Let's talk a little bit about summits in general.
Malva, do you want to start?
Sure. There's so much that goes into the thought process of actually making the decision first if a summit is good for your business. A lot of people, especially those that run their own business or have a business and like collaboration, have been asked potentially to be a speaker at a summit or have been asked to be a participant at a summit. And then they think, oh, yay, I can do that too. And they just jump into this deep end of it shouldn't be that hard to run a summit, right?
I'll get 20
but
friends.
Do we really know?
I'll
do
just
we
get 20
really
friends.
know?
I know people.
Correct. Do we really know if a summit is necessary and if it's the best strategy for our business? Because I don't want anyone to ever have a feeling that they just invested hundreds, and I really mean hundreds of hours into something where they don't see any return on investment. And that is something that happens when people burn out along the way while doing a summit. So Larissa and I, speaking about summits, love to first and foremost concentrate on the end game. What's it for? And if it's good for your business, and then how to strategize the planning of a summit in the context of what it will bring into my business. And all the itty bitty, which are very important, technical elements of creating one, they take a backseat because that's the least important thing, how to show the videos to the people, how to get people to engage. But the most important is the question of what's the summit for in your business? Don't jump on the bandwagon when you're just excited out of the gates of being a speaker and then, yay, I can do that. How hard can that be? And then you realize you've just wasted, and I use this word very cautiously, you've wasted a lot of time without any return on investment for you, just a lot of frustration and nerves because you thought, how easy could it be?
That is such a good point because everyone always thinks, oh, the tech is the hardest part. The tech is not the hardest part. Being strategic, the planning. I mean, that's something that we're always talking about here on The Long Game and emphasizing. So I'm so glad that you brought that piece up.
Yeah, it really is important because we often, and I myself included, we jump into, I'm going to do a summit because, I want to build my list. Okay, well, that's great. But what is the long game with that list? Are you, what are you doing with it afterwards? What is your offer afterwards is actually the most important part because what are you leading them to? The summit is the doorway. And so we need to lead them somewhere. And yes, you can absolutely do it yourself because, I've done it. I just threw myself in there and did everything the hard way. And, if you think a summit is a lot of work, do it wrong and you'll learn how much work it is. And so that return on investment is really important, like Malva said.
That is the best quote. Do it wrong and you'll learn how much work it is. So summits are one of those things that you hear about because people are pitching them and different people are doing them. So people are curious about them and there are a lot of steps, but let's talk about what are some of the benefits? Like, why would you want to have, produce this if it's hundreds of hours of work? And there is a component of the access to start is generally free if you're watching live. And then the paid component is buy the recordings because, right, how much can you absorb over the course or different time zones can you catch, things like that. So let's talk a little bit about some of those benefits for being in a summit and creating one as well.
Yeah, those are two different things. So there's benefits of being in a summit is you get, out there, you get more people to see you, you are collaborating. And this is one of my core values. And so collaboration is really important to me. And from that collaboration begets so many other things. I'm now in business with Malva because of a collaboration. I have a podcast with someone else because of a collaboration. Like all these different things that can come from these collaborations, not to mention just amazing friendships. And then hosting one is a totally different ballgame altogether. For me, it's absolutely collaborations, and because it's your version of online networking, right? But also, how much value can you give to your followers, the people on your list? How much value can you give them? You can't do everything. So when you host a summit, you can offer them so much more value, right? And I'm sure Malva has a few more points to that.
Yeah, so like Larissa said, I like to look at it through different perspectives. So a summit, first of all, as a summit speaker, you can really have a lot of return on investment. So how much time you've invested to prepare for the summit, to prepare for the promotion of the summit, to prepare your presentation, even for your people, meaning you might have a presentation that you generally go and attend different summits with. It doesn't have to be a given presentation for a specific summit unless this is what you have agreed on. So you can prepare a presentation. And for example, for the next 6 months, this is the presentation that you're going to be presenting in different summits. You have to be strategic in doing that. You have to know what that presentation is leading you to. You have to know what is your freebie, meaning how are you getting people to opt into your list being part of the speakers. And then again, what is the end game? What are you selling? Because on one hand, I have been on a dozens of summit, and then there were situations where speaker just showed up for the purpose of showing up. And like one of my clients said, they have actually became a media liability as opposed to something PR positive for them. So there's a lot going into how to be a good summit speaker. And Larissa and I have something for you guys later on if this is an area that you're interested in. Now, the second element is, as a summit speaker, I am collaborating with someone else. So giving to other people. However, I have to be also strategic in deciding which summits I am going to attend to, even for the content of my people, because I will have to be promoting that summit as one of the things that I sign up to. Can my people benefit from the summit that I am attending and I am the presenter in? Meaning, are the other presenters in alignment to what I want to teach my people? So that's another decision that you make. Don't just jump into any summit. Now, from the perspective of a summit host, again, who am I inviting as a collaborator? If these people are going to be my lifelong friends, awesome. But the summit should not be based only on my friends, because maybe my friends are not the best experts in the field and I should be looking elsewhere. It is a nerve-wracking situation where you are technically in your head, a nobody. You've got this imposter syndrome, and then you're going to go and reach out to the top of the top thinking maybe something's happening and they'll agree. And if they do, then wow, awesome. If they don't, will you just pack up your bags and get out of the sandbox? Well, maybe. Well, that means you weren't really prepared for it. And there are doubts, and we all have them. I have them at times too. Like, is this good enough, or could I do better? Because I am a perfectionist and I want to make sure that it's done correctly. And the last but not least, I always want to understand and know that the people that I am inviting as speakers for my summit, they're not only there because they have a list. I don't care how big your list is. However, if you're able to give me valuable gold and your teachings can teach my people something that I can't, or even if I can, my people might listen to you better than they listen to me. And I know, as bad as this might sound, but I'll give you an example. I have taught my daughter to swing on the swing, kick your legs forward and back. And she was trying to swing. And it took me like days and days and days of going to the playground, season 1, season 2, season 3, like nothing, nada. It wasn't clicking. Nothing was working. She went to preschool, to like a daycare preschool for one day. One day. She comes home. She said, Mommy, look what the teacher taught me. Did you know that I have to kick my legs forward to swing and my legs back?
Yes, of course.
And I almost hit my forehead, smack with my palm. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to teach you for the last 3 years. And that's exactly the analogy that can happen to your people. You're telling them and teaching them something, and it's like being there consistently, but someone else says it in a different way and it hits a home run for them. That is a gold mine moment for my followers, my audience, where they're able to learn from someone else because I introduced them and Larissa is amazing at this, and I'll let her continue in a second, that you come from a mindset of abundance and sharing rather than scarcity and competition.
That is a good point, because we've talked about this a fair bit. Because we often have people like don't want to be a part of a summit, or they don't want to host a summit because, it's their competitors. And I come from a totally different mindset than that. It's like the more we can come together and share, the more people we can help. And also, maybe someone who's on our list is not meant to be on our list, but they're there because they haven't found the right person yet. So when we can bring people together, maybe someone from somebody else's list should be working with me, and different things like that. So when we can collaborate, we share that positive energy that allows us to help even more people. And so I think that's a really important part.
100%. And I want to add to that it can be a complementary relationship, so that the knowledge that I'm bringing can be complemented by someone else's piece that I don't talk about. But you need both perspectives, because, that is one thing in this entrepreneurial world, right? There's always these entry points and pieces that you have to think about. And so in any topic, you can go niche and you can go deep and really get that learning, and then have these complementary topics. So when I had received notice about the Kajabi Summit that you two have created, I think I filled it out the first day, because I was like, I want in on this. Like, it doesn't matter that there's 20 other women here that could be hired by my audience that I'm going to promote to. Like, first of all, they know my voice already. I have them as an audience for whatever reason that is, right? And I felt like someone's going to say something different. I know what I have to say is such a unique perspective on this, and I want the other people to add in and round out the knowledge of my audience. And it's kind of like the company you keep, right? You're with these amazing other experts. So I think it's the idea of complementary relationships in addition to that collaboration piece.
Mm-hmm. Right. So a summit is also a type of training. I come from the training world. I teach people. And one of the difficulties of people and CEOs, especially in big companies, and they have the HR departments and the development department, one of the things they say is, we invest so much money in these people, and they learn and they just work for another 6 months and then they leave, right? Why would we invest so much money in them? It's almost as if, why would I want someone else invited to my audience if my audience can leave with them? Mm-hmm. Okay, potentially. But then there's another perspective. Now, imagine you don't train those people. You don't give them the skills. You don't give them the knowledge that they need to complete the work better, and they stay. Yeah. Meaning, do I really want someone who's unqualified, unable to be here, to stay here? Even if someone is on my list and they purchase one thing, mm-hmm. and they leave because it teaches, they found a trampoline of going somewhere else, that is still my success. I connected them. And although maybe I don't have that mm-hmm. dollar value yet, but maybe they'll come back and say, you know what, because of you, I had this and this. How about I introduce you to? And then all of a sudden you realize that you get even more connections and even more benefits from the collaborations. And I just love summits, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because it's that abundance mindset that you were referencing earlier. It's there's enough for everyone, and we're all going to attract our people. Even if they're my follower, they're going to be attracted to me when they're ready, and they're going to find what they need. And we all need things at different times as well. So let's shift a little bit and talk about the Kajabi Summit. That's how we all connected. I saw a call out somewhere. It may have been Facebook. It may have been something. I'm not sure. And like I said, I was so on it. I was so excited to see something very targeted about Kajabi. And so let's talk about too, like in picking this topic, like how did you come up with, you both have multiple experiences and in business and things like that. How did you zero in on, let's do a Kajabi Summit? Because it really hasn't been done yet.
Can I speak to this?
Yes, please.
So we're Kajabi fans, absolutely, right? And we're both Kajabi experts, both Kajabi partners, all of those things. And Kajabi hosted a summit last year, and it was all the big names, right? All the big names. And we were like, okay, but what about the people who are just starting out? What about the people who are trying to build and are kind of stuck? Like, it's really great to see these multi-million-dollar Kajabi experts out there, or they're business experts more than Kajabi experts.
Right. Agreed.
And so we were like, what if we could showcase Kajabi and why you want to be on Kajabi while building your business and having all of those strategies as well? And look, we got so excited about that idea because it was just like, we love it and we know other people love it. And Kajabi has an amazing Facebook group and people are always asking questions. And so we were like, how can we help more people? And the summit was just like, this is a no-brainer. This is what we have to do. Yeah.
Well, I'll look at the sign on my door that says Spectacular Summits, and but it's such a novel idea because the concept, Kajabi encompasses so many different pieces. So you have the ability to talk about expertise in marketing, in sales, the setup of Kajabi, building your course foundation. If you hop on the Peak Framework, my presentation, and even all of that tech, all of the tech that goes into it. So there are all these different facets that you can have people come and speak about.
Right. So Elevate Your Kajabi Business Summit is really about getting people unstuck. So yes, it is for the new beginner if you wish. However, our intention is more to get to those people who have potentially DIY'd their sales page and they have tried to sell something, maybe potentially sold to a friend, to a neighbor, or to a colleague. And then all of a sudden their immediate list or immediate circle of potential buyers dried out. And now they're like, and what do I do now? Like, I know my product is good. I've tested it out. People have already paid me money. How do I elevate my business? How do I scale my business? How do I get to the next level? And this is where we get amazing people that tell us that design is driven by copy. Like, if you don't know what copywriting is using the story brand, then obviously there might be something that is not necessarily ideal in the way that you presented your sales page. If you understand that a basic template within Kajabi, although can be fine as a start, it is really a replication of what other people have already done, meaning that it isn't your brand, it isn't your voice. Not that templates are bad. Absolutely not. I love them. There are many people that have amazing templates. But the better thing with templates is how to make that template your own so that people looking at that template, especially those in the business, won't automatically say, oh yeah, that's a XYZ type of template. So again, people speaking about designing Kajabi to not look like Kajabi, to look better than Kajabi, to understand that copy and what you're writing and how you're positioning it on your website is very, very important. Talking about funnels, how to strategize the funnels into Kajabi, meaning your people need to come from somewhere. Building it and they will come doesn't work. It only worked with Kevin Costner, I believe is his name, and the baseball in the cornfield. That doesn't work on Kajabi. Think of all of the people that are on the Kajabi platform. They built amazing things, but they have not opened the doors. They have not organized the summit. They have not run any of their audience within. How do you strategize? There's a meme that says, how's your life going? My life is on track. And then you look at the track and it's all toppled and upside down. So if you don't have a strategy to your business, you don't have a strategy of posting, you don't have a strategy of the funnels inside your business, meaning going from one product to another, from an opt-in to a mini sales, from a sales to a bigger sales, from a bigger sales to, you don't have all of that, then essentially this is the summit for you to learn. Larissa and I have been talking about elevating your Kajabi Business Summit for, I'm not going to lie if I'm say over 2 years, okay? Because we wanted to make sure that everything is in place for us before we go out. Because we didn't want to make the same decision and the same mistakes that we're telling everyone else not to do. We didn't jump on the bandwagon, although her and I had loads and loads of experience on running summits. We weren't ready. And I do believe that now we are to showcase Kajabi to the best ability with the best people that we have. And I could not have been more proud with the exceptional lineup of speakers, you included, Sandra, that we have within this summit. I can't wait to showcase it to everyone. So no matter where you are, there's always something for everyone. Even those that made millions and millions of dollars on Kajabi.
I'm excited. I'm a Kajabi expert myself. And I'm like, I want to catch this. I want to catch that. Like, there's so much knowledge. It's just getting other people's perspectives as well.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Get another person's perspective and get inspired.
I want to speak to one point that you mentioned, though, about being ready. I mean, I want to say kudos to both of you for the organization, the leading through. I mean, you have really said, for people who are new to summits, if you're not with someone who has experience and is organized, you don't know to have your opt-in ready. I mean, I've bought summits where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like when you go to do something, you both have said, this is what you need. You need this, you need that. But you've laid out for new people who are coming in as well. And that's a real testament to the outside being smooth because the inside is smooth.
Thank you for that. That's taken a lot of mistakes along the way for us to figure those out. And we've even learned from this summit, even though between us, we have like dozens of summits that we've done. But we've even learned from this summit because every time there's like something else. And that's the great thing about them, right? You can you just fine tune it a little more. And so learning.
And then you get the wow factor. Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah. Then you start your rush, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
The big latte hits. They're just a unique experience. And did you think to organize things the way you have, like you have a few speakers each day? How was it, since there are these different topics, like thinking about your organization of there's a tech piece, there's a strategic piece, like each day, or what was your thought process on how to organize the talks throughout the 7 days? Because that's a huge piece.
It is a huge piece. And we looked at the things that you need in your business in Kajabi. And so we looked at all of those different pieces to see, how many days we were going to have our summit, how many speakers we were going to have in our summit, all of those things so that we could then choose. And I think we went from 5 to 7 a couple of times. And, it's like, but then no, we really do need this. Oh, do we? We should shorten it, that sort of thing, until we ended up with 7. But even after we did that, we switched up and we have 2 days this time that is the same topic because we had such amazing speakers and we were like, well, we don't want to cut these ones. So we moved like the 7th topic, if you will, into a bonus because we only had one speaker for that and we had numerous speakers for the other one. So it's always being malleable, I guess, taking in the information, figuring out what people need and then how you can best deliver it to them. And right up to the very end, right? Right up to the very end.
Yeah. And I love that idea about organizing and maybe saying, hey, we're going to do a bonus piece to this as well, because you understand the value of the content that you receive from your call out.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a Kajabi user, you probably love it, right? If you're not, this might show you. So if you're not on Kajabi yet, I would still recommend come and check it out because the business knowledge is amazing. But it also might sway you slightly because Kajabi is pretty amazing as an all-in-one platform.
That's true. And even if you have a tech team that does all the tech and, they take away your tech headache and they're the ones that are delivering the antidotum and all you have to do is have the strategy, then the funnel piece, the strategy piece, these are the things that you have to have. All of the tech people are there to implement your strategy and implement your wants. Yes, you will tell them what you want, what you envision, and they will see if it's possible tech-wise. You don't need to know the tech, but your tech people are not your visionaries. They're not your strategy builders. They're not the ones that are going to be making the decision about, your user experience and your flow. You're the one that's going to do that. So even if you are in the position where you think, well, I got my own whole tech need to take care of that. Hey, who's going to guide them?
100%. Yeah. And I always think you are so much better being knowledgeable and involved, even if you aren't the one doing that, because you know the capabilities. You might have an idea to say, oh, I saw this is possible, and I think we should do that. Whereas if you never dove in, I call it lean on your tech. If you don't lean on your tech to know what those capabilities are, for it to run your business, you're not able to delegate really the positions as well, because you're just taking the information from someone else versus, as you say, Malva, being able to guide that direction.
Yeah, I think it's really important that as a business owner, you be able to do the things. And I say this to a lot of people, especially about their website, because if you don't know how to change things on your website, like the basic things, like I'm on my website every single day because I'm, updating something, or I'm, making an announcement, or I'm changing a graphic, whatever it is. If I couldn't do that, I would be completely halted in my business. So being able to do those absolute basics is a must. And Kajabi makes it very simple to do that. Even if you normally have someone who can do it for you, if you need to, like, oh, I forgot tomorrow morning we're doing this and I didn't tell them, I can just go and change that. It's so important. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really great that you're bringing so much of the strategy piece in, because there is that tech and you have to know how to. And, that's one of the things I talk about is, yes, help videos are great, but they do not provide the strategy. They don't tell you why you want to be doing this. When should you be using this feature? They'll tell you the how, open it up, connect, something like that. So the strategy piece is really, it's the crux of everything you're doing in any of your marketing, but definitely in your course or membership business.
So if you want a strategy piece, you need to know the capabilities of the tech first in order to strategize. The capabilities of the tech is the easiest bit, because you either hire it out, or you go onto Kajabi University, or you go onto YouTube and you figure it out. However, like you mentioned, having a step by step as to how to connect an automation to an email sequence, great. But what's inside the email sequence? Mm-hmm. When should it be triggered? When should it be sent? Does it have to be sent? How does it have to be sent? Does an email have to be sent through a form, or through a sequence, or through a broadcast, or through an event? When is an event good? When is it? Mm-hmm. All of these things are very, very important in you guiding the people that are on your list through the whole strategic process of delivering the expertise that you have as an expert.
Agreed. And I am so excited for this to come up, because you have such amazing speakers. Again, this is happening June 5th to the 11th. We are going to have a link in the show notes to the Elevate Your Kajabi Business Summit. Go and register. You can come on for free and look at the schedule, find things out, and then purchase, if you want to, the recordings and stay in touch. So I want to thank you both for being here and for making the time and the connection. Like, I love being able to be a part of this and get to meet you and have you here as well because of this. So we've all expanded, and I'm excited for this to be coming out.
Yes, I'm so excited, and thank you for having us.
Sandra, thank you very much for having me, and Larissa, thank you everyone for listening. Come and see us at the summit, and hopefully you learn something, not only from Sandra, not only from Larissa and I, but from all of the experts there.
Yeah, it's amazing company, and you're going to love the topic. So go peruse. Link is in the show notes. Elevate Your Kajabi Business Summit. All right, everyone, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me today. You can access more information, links mentioned in this episode, and the show notes at thelonggamepodcast.net. If today's show connected with you in some way, please share it with your friends or hop on and leave a review. Both of these make a really big difference. All right, until next time, keep playing the long game.